Robin Lundberg Show. All right, sorry for the late start tonight. Scrambling. Just got back from a rec basketball game. We won, by the way, 44-18. A tremendous performance for my kids. The best game that they played all season. Best game that they played all season. So I'm proud of them. They were the anti-Nets, is what they were. In fact, we are called the North Caldwell Nets. We play out of the town of North Caldwell, and we're called the North Caldwell Nets because of my affinity for the Nets, a little bit of the alliteration going on there. But we played much better than the Nets apparently did. I didn't get to see the whole Nets game because of that. I'm looking at the score. No bueno. No bueno. The Raptors of all team smacked the Nets. And generally, when a new coach takes over, a team plays well. Like that's usually the rule of thumb, that the new team plays well. And I can't say that the state of the Nets is very good right now because it is not. Things are ugly in Brooklyn right now. But, beyond the immediacy of the ugly situation, I wanted to take a look at the broad picture with the Nets as well at this very moment, because there was also the news earlier that a minority stake of the team could be being sold to the Koch family. It's Koch, right? In some way, shape, or form. I don't know. There's a political thing side to it. I don't know all their donors and affiliations, but apparently people hate them. They're really bad, right? Like, people who have generally left-leaning tendencies think they're really bad. Nonetheless, there have been all these fans who said, Joe Tsai, sell the team. And now it's like, not to these guys, not to these guys. Anyhow, I won't pretend to know more about it than I do. And when you read the details of something like that, how do you know how much of the team is actually being sold? I think I saw a 10% stake, and it's one of the kids. So you're really going to blame the kids. He's a rich kid getting, the money. And that's the way it works, right? I mean, look at Jim Dolan. There's been a lot of rich kids who have gotten money and ran a team. So I don't know what that means for the Nets per se going forward. But one thing I did find interesting about it was the valuation was basically in line with something like $4 billion or more than $4 billion. The Nets are actually valued higher than the Mets, apparently. They don't look like they're valued for anything right now. They look like trash right now out on the court. But it's kind of funny because the Nets are this team that everyone always says doesn't matter. They always say this team doesn't matter. Who cares about this team? Like Knicks fans say that all the time, right? No one cares about the Nets. And then all of a sudden, when there's a story about the Nets, people care. They like to rub it in. Obviously, people care enough to invest in the team. The team is worth a lot of money. The situation will probably start garnering more attention, as ugly as it is right now, with Sean Marks likely being on the hot seat coming up, because there's no way to spin it. Again, when a new coach takes over, you're supposed to play well. Now, you guys can shoot me the notes on the game. It seemed to me that Ollie played Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton together to start, which is not a good idea. Those guys just can't play together. I mean, it's common sense. Neither can shoot the ball. You can't space the floor that way. I believe I saw Ben Simmons on the floor with Day'Ron Sharpe, too. Another decision that really doesn't make any sense. I mean, when Ben Simmons is on the floor, even if he's playing point guard, he should be the lone big man. That's how you maximize his game. And you did not see that uptick in the effort that they were asking for or any of those things. Mikal Bridges struggled after a nice start. Bridges, to me, he's the real bona fide piece on the team. But obviously, you need more than him in order to win. And now the Nets look like one of the worst teams in the league at the moment with no immediate path to get better unless they already have a star committed in the offseason. So it's an interesting dilemma. Because, I still think the trade assets they got from the Kevin Durant trade are good. Like those Suns picks could be really good down the line. They could be worth a lot. They could. And at the same time, it's frustrating because they're so far in the future. And the Nets don't have their draft pick this year. If they had their draft pick this year, you just say tank. Well, of course. But the problem is the Rockets own the draft pick from the Harden trade. And you can go back and say the Harden trade was the worst trade ever. But they would have won the title, in my mind, in 2021 if they were healthy. Unfortunately, they weren't healthy. They didn't win the title. And things fell apart in glorious and spectacular fashion. They fell apart in glorious and spectacular fashion. That's all fair. Meanwhile, you have the Knicks looking better than they've looked essentially this century at the same time, which can't feel good. But the one thing I've said for the KD and Kyrie whatever you want to call it, 7-Eleven, what have you, is it established the franchise as one that matters. It established the franchise as one that matters because the interest was around them, the national coverage was around them, and the notoriety that they got across the globe increased. They have a fan base in China. If you look at Instagram followers and stuff like that, in a global sense, you could argue they're as big as the Knicks, if not bigger. From a marketing and apparel standpoint, I mean, I just out on the streets see Nets stuff all the time because it looks clean. But from a basketball product, presently, it's ugly. It's ugly. And there's not really much else to say about it. Not really much else to say about it. It's a rough situation. I always have people say, move the Nets to Seattle and rebrand them to something. The Nets are doing well in attendance. The Nets have no problem getting people in the building. That's not the issue. It's not the issue. They get people in the building. People on Twitter go crazy. It's the Knicks fans took over the building because the Nets fans have nothing to cheer about. When the Nets were playing well in the Garden a couple years back, there were Brooklyn chants in Madison Square Garden. And Knicks fans are super passionate. There's tons of them. They're great. Madison Square Garden's a great building. I'm not trying to take a shot. That's what happens when the two buildings are next to each other. It's, 20 minutes apart. There's no home court. It's whoever buys tickets and shows up. And if the fans have nothing to cheer for, but you see the purchase of the team and, you see the purchase of the stake and what it's worth, what the team is worth, they're a brand. They're just not a product right now. And that's the problem. Rahala88, who I rode the train in with to a Nets game in the past, KD and Kyrie made the Nets matter, but it can fade really quickly if they don't turn this around by 2025. Yeah, I mean, it's rough. It is. There's no spinning that. It's rough at the moment. They need a complete overhaul in the offseason, from a new coach to a clear, defined direction. If it's going to be, all right, we're going all in on Donovan Mitchell, then go all in on Donovan Mitchell. If not, then you do have to blow it up. I mean, eventually you have to blow it up, but that's when you might stop seeing people show up in the seats. And I don't know if you want to sign up for misery for year after year after year after year. That's a tough pill to swallow because draft picks aren't guaranteed either. I mean, you look at look where Giannis was picked. Look where Jokic was picked. I mean, I'm just even looking. What are the teams in the league that were built on draft picks? The Thunder, in a sense, but they traded for Shea. There's not that many teams. Even the Warriors in their run was built on where Steph was drafted. It wasn't in the top 5. So it sounds good to tank. Look at the Pistons right now. Dude, would you rather be the Pistons? And that's been for years. They took over the arena in Philly tonight. I'm assuming that means Knicks fans. Yeah, but Philly's not far either. I was in Philly on Saturday last weekend. It took me an hour and a half to get there. So I'm not dissing. Knicks fans are passionate, no question. But taking over the building isn't, when one fan base has nothing to cheer for and people make the trip, you're going to hear them. It's not that complicated. Berkey 711. It's almost like the Knicks and Nets ownership traded places overnight. I mean, if the Nets didn't matter, there wouldn't be people in here talking about them right after a game. It wouldn't work that way if they were so irrelevant. The problem is they're more relevant maybe than they've ever been, other than when they had KD and Kyrie, and they suck. That's the problem. They're relevant and they suck. You'd rather be irrelevant while you suck. And they haven't gotten the same attention that they would have, of course, if they had Durant and Kyrie and now, but they wouldn't be this bad then either. And it's starting to creep up now after they fired Jacques Vaughn. How about the Knicks? It was impressive that the Knicks got OG as a throw-in. Yeah, look, the Knicks are doing well. They're row one. I got nothing bad to say about the Knicks. I got nothing bad to say about the Knicks, really. I mean, they've proven themselves. They've changed the they've changed the perception effectively going forward. Salute to the Knicks and the Knicks fans. You guys earned it sticking through all that stuff. Knicks are a legit team, and they should be for a while. And they've got competent management. So you should feel very, very good. Very, very good. Kawhi was the 15th pick. Another example. I mean, you have to go back to like LeBron and Tim Duncan, maybe Victor Wembanyama. But I'm even thinking, what are the teams that are contending right now? How many of them drafted their top guy? I mean, I think you want a homegrown guy. There's nobody that feels like they belong to the Nets per se. You know, if they got somebody in New York who was a bona fide star, and that player was groomed and came up here and captured the excitement. Yeah. I mean, real estate in New York, though, like, if they have a good team with exciting players, people are going to show up. It ain't that. There's a lot of people in New York. The whole like own the city thing. Yeah, the Nets brought that on themselves in a sense. The way Prokhorov and even Hove launched it off, and cities under new management and the billboard blueprint for greatness and all that. But it's not really what matters. It's not really what matters. Sean Marks needs to go. He might. This keeps up. He might. I'll give Sean Marks credit. He built the Nets to a destination from nothing. But first of all, he built the Nets to a destination from nothing, and he made the moves that I think almost all GMs would make. A lot of what happened to the Nets was bad luck. Injury. Harden and Kyrie get hurt in the same playoffs. COVID happens. Kyrie, of course, it was Kyrie who wasn't the vaccinated one, but it's only New York that has the rule. And it all fell apart as a result of that. But that was a championship level team. Just didn't win the championship. What is it with the Nets that they can't sustain a long period of success? I mean, they've had too many mercenaries. Even when so if you think about them, you go back to the New Jersey Nets days, they sustained success. That was a sort of homegrown team with Jason Kidd piloting it when he came over. And Richard Jefferson, and Kenyon Martin and that crew, and then when they went to Brooklyn, they made a lot of splashy moves, and they brought in KG and Darren Williams and Paul Pierce and Joe Johnson, and those teams made the playoffs. They were competitive, but they were older. They were a mercenary team, and then they started building again, and then they put another mercenary team together with KD and Kyrie, and then that blew up. That's why they can't, sustain it. Yeah, this is what I said earlier. It shows me that the Nets have value. Again, the Nets are valued apparently higher than the Mets are. The Nets are one of the, they're a hugely valued franchise. So the idea that they need to be sold and moved is silly. It's just silly. It flies in the face of the actual data and the numbers. This is one, it could be just, offloading a part of the team. It could be making it, sort of starting the process of the ball rolling to an ownership shift. And then I'm not going to blame the kid. I don't know enough about I know people hate the family, and I'm sure there's stuff about it that if you go find any of these billionaires, you're going to find a problem generally. And again, it's the kid, I think. And I have to read the full details. I'm not educated enough to make some sort of hot take. But I don't think it's as like sky is. To me, my take is more. It shows the team is worth something. That's what it shows. I almost went there today. This is a really off. I was literally almost there today. My son wanted to go to Chick-fil-A instead over by Willowbrook Mall, which is a great area, the Willowbrook Mall area, if you've ever been around. It's a great area. But yeah, we're talking about the value of the Brooklyn Nets. And I think what we see is that the Nets matter. Again, the Nets matter. That's not the problem. The problem is that the Nets suck. And there's not a clear fix to it. And generally, when you make a coaching change like that, you're going to get the results right away, at least from like a spirit and effort standpoint. And I have to go back and watch the actual game if I should. I don't know if I actually should. But to get spanked by the Toronto Raptors is not a good look. There's no universe where getting spanked by the Toronto Raptors is a good look. That's just gross. That's just gross. Keep the comments coming in, guys. I told my son he could participate in one segment. Let me see if he's here. Raj, you wanna come in for a minute? He's always wanted to be on YouTube, and we're having a debate. So I want you to help me settle the debate. Butters, shut up. Sorry, I apologize to the dog. Butters is the little dog. If she comes in, I'll hold her up here. This is Raj. Raj has always wanted to be on YouTube. He's a big fan of Kid City on YouTube. Come in closer. And here, let me give you the mic. So Raj wants to wake up at 5 a.m. Stay in the camera. Wake up at 5 a.m. for Elimination Chamber. And congratulations on the win, 44-18. And get up at 5 a.m. on Saturday. I say we watch Elimination Chamber a little later in the day, like we would normally, like after our activity. We have a basketball game that morning, and I think one other thing around lunchtime. We're probably done around 3. So my vote is we just stay off social media and watch Elimination Chamber around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, get some food, that kind of thing. But he wants to get up at 5 a.m. before his basketball game to watch Elimination Chamber. State your case.
I want
to. That's it?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
Yeah.
Well, Raj is also going to WrestleMania, so he's pretty pumped. What are you looking forward to about Elimination Chamber?
Who's gonna win the Elimination Chamber to face Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins. Okay. So who are you with? Are you with me or Raj when it comes to Elimination Chamber? Should we wake up at 5 a.m. or should we watch it in the afternoon or the evening?
5 a.m.
So look, you're on YouTube, man.
Hey.
This is what you wanted to do. Hey. So you got to you got to state your, talk about who's your favorite wrestler right now.
Main event Jey Uso.
Main event Jey Uso. You can look at the camera. And what do you want to see at WrestleMania?
Jey beat Jimmy up.
Jey beat Jimmy up at WrestleMania. What else do you like about the WWE right now?
That Roman's gonna lose at WrestleMania.
You want Roman to lose?
Yeah, he's gonna get destroyed by Cody because of Rock.
Rock is gonna turn on Roman?
Yeah.
That's your prediction?
Yeah.
All right. There's Raj's opinion so far in the chat. Get up at 5 a.m. Looks like the people are on your side. Raj wins. So there you go, buddy. You can go play your NBA video game. That was the debate we've been having. So you guys can settle it at one point. And then but I just got a notification that my daughter bought a movie upstairs for $15 when it probably is available for free. She's watching School of Rock with my other young kid, but I see the pizza in the comment. I say Big Ro is the other youngest one. And Big Ro has gotten into the Ninja Turtles. So the one other thing I was going to talk about, because it'll probably be a little bit of an abbreviated show, given we started late here tonight and I got to take care of the kids. Wifey's not here. It's just me. I coached a basketball game, by the way, with all 3 kids. One of them was playing, but the other 2, I'm like, I had Ronnie watching Rohan, but Rohan he's a big 2-year-old. He's like 60 pounds, Big Ro. That's why we call him Big Ro. And I'm trying to keep up with them while coach a basketball game. Then I'm coming back here and I'm doing this show while they're doing whatever over there. Hopefully they're good. But the one other thing I wanted to get into was the best Ninja Turtle, because Rohan has recently really gotten into the Ninja Turtles. And I took him to Target the other day, which is a wonderful establishment. It's a wonderful establishment. And at Target, we got him a Ninja Turtle, and he picked Raphael, who was always my favorite Ninja Turtle. Raphael was kind of the Wolverine of the Ninja Turtles, if you will. The Wolverine of the Ninja Turtles. Michelangelo, or you could put it this way, R.I.P. Chandler Bing. But Raphael was kind of Chandler, and Michelangelo was kind of Joey, right? Michelangelo was always, super popular too. Poor Leonardo and Donatello, they didn't get quite the same amount of love. But they're good kids. You know, they all have their unique identity, which I like. You know, you can't really say that one of the Ninja Turtles is too much like the other. You know, Michelangelo's the party dude, the goofy dude. Raphael's the edgy dude. Leonardo's the straight edge dude, and Donatello's the nerd. So it works out well. Anybody have any thoughts on who the best Ninja Turtle is? There you go. All right, guys. I did promise you a show today, so I wanted to make sure I got you said show and at least got in here for a little bit after having coached. Make sure, and you guys are the best. I love you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe the channel, please. Comment during the show while you're doing it, but comment after if you can. If you're watching later on the replay, I will reply to the comments. You know, I did a short the Method Man short I did. People keep commenting on that, and they don't seem to understand the point. My point was, first of all, I love Method Man. Dude is awesome. Anytime he's going to appear on a song, I'm thrilled. But my point was that it's kind of a miss in hip hop history that he doesn't have a solo rap classic, because he's everything a rapper should be. And he was basically the lead singer of the Wu-Tang Clan, if you think of it that way. RZA was the most important guy because he was the architect and made all the beats. But Meth had the charisma and sold the whole deal. And I was just like, it's a bummer he never had a classic solo. It doesn't mean his career's a waste. And people keep hitting me up with songs in there like, he made All I Need, fool. He made Bring the Pain, fool. I understand. He's got a ton of classic songs and verses. Shadowboxing is one of the illest songs ever made. It probably has my favorite verses from him on it. But that's not a classic album. It's not the same thing. Raphael, there we go. Another vote for Raphael. What's up, Sean? How you doing, man? That is Sean, right? I think on Facebook. And Meth was definitely that dude on 36 Chambers when the Wu came out. There's no question. Wasn't I'll Be There For You a single by him? Yeah, but again, that's a single. I'm talking about a classic album. I'm good, dude. Sean and I used to live together for a small period of time uptown. He would play Dipset at that time. Anytime I ever hear one of those songs, anytime I ever hear, Killer Cam, Killer Cam, anything from Purple Haze, or even like I think Diplomatic Immunity, I always think of Sean. Ghost ended up the best ever. He ended up with the best catalog out of the Wu. If I'm power ranking Wu-Tang members, though, I'm going RZA number one. RZA has to be number one. Then I'm going Meth, because if they don't have Meth as that charismatic front man, I don't think they blow up the way that they do. Then it's tough. Do you go ODB or Ghost? Because Ghost has the best catalog, but ODB was also the guy who helped launch them. There's a reason they went in the order that they did. And then there's a toss-up with Jizza and Ray. And then Inspector Deck, too. It's a shame Inspector Deck's debut was lost in the flood, because I think Meth and Deck are the two most talented rappers out the bunch. Bill L was asking, Robin, growing up, we always hear West Coast rapper, East Coast rap. He then goes on to say, is that still a thing? No, I mean, that was more of a Biggie and Tupac thing, and an unfortunate thing. I mean, I've always been an East Coast guy myself. The style is a little bit more my lane. I mean, West Coast has grooves, no question. Some of the lyrics and stuff is a little bit more, I hate to use the word vulgar. It makes me sound old, but it's not, the raps are not as tight. But I mean, all the various regions wound up with the sounds that resonated. I mean, Outkast from the South, right? Snoop and Dre, legendary from the West. And then obviously what we got out of the East. I just got into the Wu-Tang Clan. How old are you? That's cool, though. I mean, never too late. Never the legendary Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang is for the children, as they say. All right, guys. Like I said, I don't think I can do a full show tonight because I got on here late, but I do appreciate all the interaction. Please like, subscribe, share. He's 41 and just got into the Wu-Tang Clan. Congratulations. I wish I were you. I kind of wish I were you. Like, to be able to experience that for the first time now, that's pretty amazing. You should go. I mean, I would say to me, my two favorite Wu-Tang projects are 36 Chambers and Liquid Swords. Those are my two favorites. Then I would say Supreme Clientele and Only Built for Cuban Links and Wu-Tang Forever. Those would be my favorite projects. I've reached out to a couple. I mean, Brandon Tierney was almost on tonight. I'll get Ryan Rucco on soon. I'm gonna hit up Keith McPherson, Kaz. I'll hit him up. It's a bunch of people I've been meaning to hit up. No question. Bunch of people I've been meaning to hit up. If you never saw the show I did with Rosenberg, check it out. I do think that was a great show. You know, we went into the careers a little bit, and that's what I plan to do with the guests as I incorporate the guests into this show more. Because you guys can, like I said, you can get the topic du jour anywhere, but when I have a guest on, I kind of want them to tell their story a little bit. And then speaking of the tease, I don't know if I can officially announce this yet. It's not like a huge deal, but I mean, I booked it, so I guess I can. I will be back on CBS Sports Radio next week for the first time in a minute. Doing Zach Gelb's show next Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. So back on those airways, CBS Sports Radio. But, the Robin Lundberg show will be on the airwaves or the YouTube waves or whatever this is, whatever you call this, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. is the normal channel time, normal broadcast time. But I'm glad that you guys showed up here tonight for this special edition, a little bit later edition, because I had to coach that rec basketball game. And as I said, our team was much, much better than the Brooklyn Nets. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, comment. If you're watching later on, comment. I'll get back to you. Much love to all the support you guys have shown me. I really appreciate it. This has been a rewarding experience for me, like especially, with what's going on at SI. And I took the initiative. Like, I give myself credit. In a sense, I'm proud of myself. Not in a sense, I am proud of myself for just saying, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not just going to sit here. And to have you guys jump in every night and comment and validate that, it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot. Like, it's not just, I don't just say those words. I'm Sean would know. I'm not fake like that. I don't just say those words. I really mean those words. So I do, if I could click like on y'all, I would. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Same Robin time. Same.